Ark Syria?
Yep.
So regarding the French report that was released, Foreign Minister Lavrov, citing Arnold Schwarzenegger, I believe in his capacity as an anchor, not a governor, or an actor, not a governor, said that we cannot act in accordance with the principle of just trust me. It seems as though Russia has not moved at all, or is it the assessment of the State Department that Russia has moved at all since the Secretary of State traveled to Moscow in regards to Syria? Is Russia coming around to the idea of moving beyond Bashar al-Assad? And if not, at what point will the United States stop waiting for Russia to do so?
Well, you did see, a couple of points to make on that. One is you saw that we did issue a readout the other day when Secretary Tillerson did speak with Foreign Minister Lavrov. In that readout, we made very clear that Secretary Tillerson, and by extension the United States, believes that there shouldn't be a separate body or a separate investigative body created, as the Russians have suggested, to look into this chemical weapons attack, that we believe that the mechanisms are already there. The OPCW and the JIM, the Joint Investigative Mechanism, are already in place and have already been doing this job of cataloging and investigating chemical weapons attacks in Syria. They're fully capable of doing that. We certainly welcome them, an investigation conducted by them into this attack.
They're pinned on this and aren't moving anywhere towards a political solution in Syria.
Look, all I will say is that we are very certain and very clear about what took place, and we've been very clear about that. I'd refer you to the April 11th background briefing that I believe the White House conducted that looked at the intelligence assessment that went into our assessment that a chemical weapons attack did take place, and it was carried out by the Syrian regime. That, of course, was the rationale behind our airstrikes. Sorry, let me finish. Regardless of what Russia may or may not say about an investigation into this activity, we're convinced, and you saw today the French conducted their own investigation, they're convinced as well of what took place. In the interest of greater transparency, we would welcome, as I said, these existing mechanisms within the UN to carry out a thorough investigation, because what's also important here going forward is that there's a measure of accountability here, and that we are able to, we being the international community, are able to pin these crimes on the Syrian regime who carried them out.
But on the next steps for Syria, it doesn't seem that Russia's moving along. How long is the U.S. going to wait?
I can't speak to that. I just don't know. I mean, we're going to continue to believe, or we're going to continue to maintain that there doesn't need to be a separate entity created to investigate this incident. We believe that there's already the mechanisms in place to investigate this incident.
But I'm replacing Assad.
Exactly.
Though. Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry?
Replacing Assad, though.
Oh, replacing Assad. Well, that's a broader question. I apologize. I misunderstood. Yeah. I think, sorry, I swear to Saeed, I'll get to you next. I think with respect to Assad, we continue to believe that he's not the future for Syria. That doesn't change the fact that he's still in place, and that we need a political process to take place whereby the Syrian people can decide on the future leadership of their country. That's been our position all along. We're urging Russia and Iran and the other, Russia and Iran, who are aiding and abetting the regime, to convince the regime to renew this process, to restart the Geneva process, so that we can get to that political resolution.
You haven't seen any movement towards that?
No movement, no.
Mark,
Some talk of an Astana meeting, but I don't think it's been confirmed.
On
Please
the
say,
investigation mechanism that is in place.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm a little bit confused on this because there is the current investigation mechanism that did determine there was a chemical weapon discharged, but there's a need or a call for a more investigative body to go and determine the means by which it was delivered, whether it's from the air by airplane or from the ground, could conceivably have been used by the rebel groups and so on. Could you clarify that for us? Could you? I mean, what is? So you said that
sure.
You have, you pinned this on the regime. So other than communication interception that you guys cited, What do you have?
And this speaks, frankly, to the previous question a little bit. You know, the OPCW, not just the United States, but the OPCW's Executive Council rejected a Russian-Iranian proposal for a new mechanism to investigate the attack on Khan Shaykhun. In fact, states parties signaled their ongoing support for the impartial investigation into the attack, and that's already underway. You know, the fact-finding mission, the OPCW fact-finding mission is already conducting the investigation, is already empowered to investigate chemical weapons attacks. It's already been doing this and cataloging these. And frankly, that's important because, as I said, we need a record, historical record that frankly holds the perpetrators accountable in this respect, the Syrian regime.
Can
So,
I
but your
move
question
on?
was specifically about investigating how it was delivered.
Right.
I mean, look, we're convinced. We've done the research. Our intelligence is strong on this. We've briefed that on background, but we're convinced that it was delivered by Syrian jets from that airstrip that was attacked by U.S. cruise missiles.
But it is based on the interception of communication between the pilot and some scientists on the ground, right?
I'm sorry?
That's the only evidence cited, is that there were communications intercepted by
I'd refer
you.
you, I don't want to recount,
Okay.
but I'd refer you to that April 11th
Can I
background
move on to
briefing.
the Palestinian
I'll
issue?
get back to you. I want to finish with Syria, and then I'll get